But we are going to now move into the next topic, which is the same exact thing that we just did, but with the Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets right now are sitting at 8. We're going to skip over the 7 and do the Bulls on Superfans, so definitely stick tuned on this channel. If you're watching live on twitch.tv, just stay tuned. We're going to do it after this podcast. But if you are looking for it, just check out our YouTube channel or go listen to Superfans. Type in Superfans on your podcasting services and go listen to the Bulls one. But we are going to go to the Hornets now. They have the eighth slot in the lottery. They have 26.3% chance to be in the top 4 and a 6% chance to be the number 1 overall. We've had this before, and they just won the lottery. I just spun it on Tankathon, and they just won it. So let's just talk about that. They win the lottery. Who are they taking? They got Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, LaMelo Ball. They have the number 1 pick overall. Their first time picking number 1 since I think they had a pick. I'm not going to try to think about that.
I'll look at it.
Who did they pick number 1?
James Wiseman. This is the only team so far that we've done that I could, with a straight face at number 1, say James Wiseman, not even a question at number 1. Like, okay, maybe a question of I think Anthony Edwards for a second, but then I go, no, fuck it. James Wiseman. He's the guy here for the Hornets just because of what they need. I mean, you could go LaMelo Ball because Scary Terry and Devonta Graham are not the point guards of the future. And point guard is a very more important position than the center. But I feel like this team, I look at what they have guard and wing wise, and I like what they're building. If they can get that 5 and that big down low, this team could be scary and I reckon I'm going to back off from scary. Spooky. And they can be a team that maybe they have something going for them in a couple of years.
Anything could happen.
Shockingly, the Hornets have not had a number 1 overall pick, and they've been one of the worst teams, especially with the Bobcats.
Remember they got MGK or MKG?
Yeah, he was 2, and I was thinking that and AD was 1 there. Larry Johnson was the last time they picked number 1 overall in 1991.
I was going to say Larry Johnson, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, Larry Johnson is the only time they've ever picked number 1. Their first ever draft pick was Rex Chapman. Everyone knows him from Twitter. Anyways, I don't know. I thought they had a number 1 pick before, but Emeka was 2 and Adam Morrison was 3.
That's rough. Yeah,
MKG was 2. So yeah, they've had a very rough draft.
How bad do you feel? AD goes 1 and you take his KG, and you're like, man, all we gotta do is teach this kid to shoot, and we got a 2-way monster out there.
Turns
out,
Yep. It was a journey for him to learn to shoot. They did get Kemba. They did get Kemba. All right. So Wiseman, Dave, are you on this boat that James Wiseman, no matter what, like Ricky is?
It seems so damn obvious. I'm tempted to go LaMelo here because I think that it would be a win-win because you can then move Devonta Graham back to the bench unit with him and Malik Monk out there would be incredible again.
Do you try to trade Scary Terry?
Terry's a 2 guard. Like that's just he's not a point guard.
No one wants $17 million with a Terry Rozier.
He's
it's going to be 18 million next year. Yeah.
Yeah. With the cap shrinking, no one's going to want Terry Rozier for 18 mil.
And again, he can't be the lead guard out there. So adding in LaMelo Ball makes your bench better, makes your starting unit better. It would be an interesting thing to do, but I think that the correct answer here is just to go with James Wiseman. You go with the guy with the highest upside. He's a center. Like, it's the Hornets. They want a tall guy. Is that not what we've learned from their free agency moves, their trades? I mean, can Bismack Biyombo, y'all?
Yeah. Let's look at what their team would look like then if they drafted James Wiseman. So next year, do we think Nicholas Batum's going to turn down $27 million next year?
It's probably a no on that. He hard thought, but still no.
I think Nick Batum's going to take the $27 million. Terry Rozier doesn't have a choice to take $18.9. I think he's happy about that. They will clear out $17 million from Bismack Biyombo, Cody Zeller for $14.5, Malik Monk for $5.3, PJ Washington on his rookie deal $4 million, Miles Bridges on his rookie deal $3.9, Willie Hernangomez is going to be free, Dwayne Bacon's going to be free, Devonta Graham has a not fully guaranteed 1.6. Cody Martin, Caleb Martin, 1.57, and Jalen McDaniels, 1.57. I mean, there's nothing really there outside of the guards, right? I mean, you have Rozier, you have right. Hold on. So you have Rozier, you have Monk, you have PJ Washington, you have Miles Bridges,
and Devontae Graham.
Yeah, I mean those are the four guys right there, and I think I think. And I want to first apologize to Miles Bridges and PJ Washington because those two are my guys.
So you love them and you're just brushing them aside. I was like, wow, okay.
But I think that really they don't have a point guard, and I don't think that Edwards fits with them. So it's really just Ball versus Weisman at this point.
Yep.
So
I think they have a point guard. It's just, he's being forced to play alongside Terry Rozier, which hurts everybody's game. And he's been given the green light to chuck, which questionable call, but somebody's got to score points, and they're not going to give Malik Monk minutes apparently. So why not? God, I really hate their coaching because of that.
But I still think Borrego's done a decent job, and I think the thing because they've been fun, they've been fast, they play very quickly. I think that with that in mind, and the play style that they're trying to accomplish, is Weisman the best fit?
Oh, absolutely. He's someone who can run the court. You saw it in the.
Do you think that then LaMelo might be able to just do it more efficiently? He might be able to get them out into break quicker. He might be able to hit guys quicker. Miles Bridges and Washington quicker. I mean,
he really excels in the half court. He's not like Lonzo, where Lonzo was I know they were all Chino Hills, and that was the whole play style that revolutionized, how fast an offense could get up and down the court and the quickness from rebound, point guard, touch pass, 40 feet, 50 feet down the court for a quick score and just go for just blitz the defense as quick as possible. Like that was more the Lonzo led teams at Chino. So when we're talking LaMelo, like he is a half court guy. He can take his time, figure out what the defense is doing, get some off ball movement coming, and then play off of that, go off of screens, go off of whatever, create lanes and create passing opportunities.
And with that, I keep thinking of him as a fast break team, but I was looking at the stats. Their pace is really bad. Their fast break points really bad. Like they don't force a lot of turnovers. They don't really rack up a ton of fast break opportunities.
It was mostly just the embarrassment of that first Bulls game. I think just got it in your mind. Like, man, that's a fun team.
No, but I think I think the 4 games I watched them, 3 of them were against the Bulls. I think I watched the Bulls game. But yeah, no, I think then just thinking about the way that they probably do play more than what I think what I've seen, LaMelo might be a better fit because this way you actually get a guy to run your half court offense. And if you're not that fast of a team, like having LaMelo Ball be at the top of your key and being able to pick apart and hit PJ Washington and Miles Bridges on backdoor cuts, or Terry Rozier off of off ball screens, or hey, now is my time to take it, drive in, and then maybe I flip off to Zeller on a behind the back or whatever. Like I think LaMelo's the pick here, and I know you're very sold, Dave, on Devontae Graham and him being a point guard, but I think they're better off taking LaMelo Ball if they get the number 1 pick, or even if they're in the top 3, if he's available at all in the top 3, I think they need to take LaMelo Ball. I think they need to find their point guard because the only success they've had in their franchise history, outside of at least coming back, has been with Kemba Walker. They need a point guard, and I think that LaMelo Ball would be an opportunity missed if they don't go with him. And I still think Wiseman's the best player available, but at least for what they have shown, I think that they're better off with LaMelo Ball.
The other thing I'm going to throw out there, and I know that second round picks aren't the same as first, but at 32, it's so close to the first round, you might be able to get something. And because the lottery is obviously well before the draft, if they win the lottery, one of the things I would also do is, hey, if we have to choose between Weisman and Ball, can we find could they find a Daniel Oturu down there? Could they find a Zeke Naji down there, a Xavier Tillman? And then, hey, we'll go Ball early because we can get that center later. Or, hey, do we like one of the point guards at 32? So we'll do that then, and then that makes the Hornets be like, oh, we'll take Weisman at 1 because then we can get like Winston. I don't think Lewis Jr. is going to be there at 32. But like finding a point guard later or a center at 32 to then choose Ball or Weisman at 1.
Yeah, no, I think that I'm not really looking too much into that 32 pick because I don't think you're going to add a guy that is going to be a starter. Maybe he would be just because this team doesn't really have many
be a guy
players
who
that are
they need
rostered
depth.
right
Yeah.
now. But yeah, no, I think it is clear this is a draft heavy point, a point guard heavy draft, and I think that's the thing that they need to, if you're going to have your pick of the litter, you don't just wait until the last one and take the ugliest, point guard. I think you go after.
Well, I mean,
guy,
this is not a team that if they add Ball or Weisman, they're not making the play. Like, it's not like we added Weisman, we're definitely a playoff team. They could, it's the East, but like, because you have a timeline that's not make it or break it this next year, you might be able to take a point guard at 32 that you can develop into your guy in 2-3 years.
We say that, but this team is right now.
I mean, theoretically,
like they're 10th.
Yeah, I said it was
right
the
now.
East. It's the East. Could happen, but like you're not making a deep run.
Seven games out. Like I don't think it's crazy that if their offense becomes more efficient with Bridges, Washington, Graham, Rozier, and LaMelo Ball, that this team could possibly fight for an 8th seed
and then get spanked by the Bucks.
You can make similar cases for a lot of teams at the bottom, and
but
then
they're gonna have nearly, I think, $28 million in cap space too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like what if they make a play for Andre Drummond?
Sorry.
You have to stop talking. I mean, then Ricky, what if they make a play for Andre Drummond? He's got to stop talking because your dad's banging.
Yeah,
in the basement.
I don't even know what's going to go on with Andre Drummond, because he's got a player op that he could decide and stay in Cleveland a year, and then do his whole free agency next year. So like for me,
in 2021, obviously it's going to be affected by what coronavirus is going to do to the salary cap, because there's no way it's going to be near what it's going to be like. But even then, we look at the 2021 one, and Andre Drummond might not even be in the top 10 players that are going to be available that year. I mean, that is a very deep class.
The other
who
thing,
wants to lock down Andre Drummond to a long-term deal though this year? Like,
I wouldn't, and that's the thing of like. I feel like the other thing that plays into it is the draft obviously happens before free agency. Am I going to hedge my bets on getting Drummond and then having the chance of not getting Drummond? Like, that's the thing you got to think about. It's not going to be a for sure thing that he wants to come play for the Bobcats. I mean, the Hornets.
No, but I'm saying like
slander.
I'm saying that like you go through the draft. If LaMelo Ball's not available, then take Weisman. But if Ball's available, you take him in my mind. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if they're evaluating post draft and they're like, okay, we still need a center, even though we took one at 32, and we have $80 million on our payroll for next year. Well, Andre Drummond's available. Not many people are kicking the tires. What if we sign him for 25 for 4 years?
It could be interesting. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that.
I mean, this is a team that gave a shit ton of money to, like, $60 million to Terry Rozier, and they gave $125 million to Nicholas Batum. I could absolutely see them wasting money on Andre Drummond. Like,
hey. Let's be nice here.
The Hornets.
Yeah, I understand. They try to pay. They will overpay for potential guys taking that next step from a very good role player to could be a star, and they've taken risks on that. They've gambled, and obviously the Nick Batum thing hasn't worked out at all. The Terry Rozier thing, honestly, he's about where I expected him to be. So I'm not horribly disappointed. He's not a star by any means, but he's a good 2-guard. I could see them paying up for Andre Drummond. I could see them go LaMelo, like Ricky said, like an Oturu, or even who's the kid at Kentucky who's stupidly
Tyrese
good college
Maxey.
center?
Oh no, you're thinking center. I thought you were thinking guard. I'll look it up.
Whatever. I'm low on centers.
Nick Richards.
Nick Richards. He's someone who I'm wondering if he's going to come out. He's been in college for, I think this is his second year now, or right?
He's 22. He's going to be 22.3 years draft year for junior.
So yeah, he's old. So that's one knock against him. But like when you watch him play, he's added quite a lot of nice shit to his game, and I wouldn't be surprised, if he was a good pickup.
Speaking of centers, can I say one thing off topic to the Hornets, but just a thought I had in my mind?
Sure.
The fall of Charles Bassey. Like last year we were talking about him being a potential first rounder, and like now he's not even in like 2-round mock drafts, and he's at the bare bottom of like top 70 big boards.
Yeah, he's going to go undrafted probably if he comes out.
Can we go to the tape of me saying that Charles Bass is going to be bust?
I don't know.
Just start writing down these things when I say good things.
Right? I wish someone could go back for us. But yeah, no, I look at this team. I could totally see that happen where they go for the splash. They pick up Drummond and land, LaMelo if they get that lucky to get the 1 overall. I still think the idea of going Weisman isn't a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just have you maximized what Devontae Graham can be in the NBA? That's the question you have to ask. Can he get better? Because we already watched him take a massive leap this year. He went from a G League role player, bench point guard to this insane high volume shooter who's facilitating, who's moving the ball, who's able to do a little bit of everything except play defense.
And the biggest issue with him is just the fact that he's going to be a free agent after this year. Like once the next year starts, he doesn't have an option, right? He doesn't. He was signed on.
He's an RFA in 2021.
They can match it.
It doesn't say that they can match it there.
On Spot Rack.
It says RFA qualifying.
Okay, all right. Well, then that's good. It wasn't listening on what's it called? Basketball Reference.
Yeah, because he was a second round pick. Yeah.
Was he a second round pick?
Yeah, 34th overall, 2018.
Right. I didn't know if he ended up going undrafted. Okay, so never mind. Let's get away from this though, because they have a 6% chance of getting the first overall.
Yeah.
Unlikely.
Who out there that's not top 3? Who's the guy that if they fell to the Hornets, they made out? They got a steal, right? Who is that guy in this draft in your mind?
Onyeka Okongwu.
I got one. I'm going to throw one out. Denny Avdia. I think if Denny Avdia fell to 8 for them, I think that they made out.
It would be a steal, but adding having Miles Bridges, I like Dwayne Bacon. I don't think that he's amazing, but I like what he brings to the team. I think of
skip over PJ Washington. And give
PJ Washington, yes, stretch 4. So maybe that's why I overlook it. But I almost feel like taking the wing of Denny Avdia might be it's not a huge need, but yes, could be seen as BPA. I look at Onyeka Okongwu being the one because I feel like if they're at 8 where they are right now, most of the point guards are going to be gone, so they're choosing between Cole Anthony and Nico Mannion and RJ Hampton. And if Onyeka's there, depending on whose big board you look at, he's a top 10 guy for sure. Some people see him as a top 5 guy. Some even have him as a top 3 guy because not everyone's on the consensus that we have that Ball, Edwards, and Weisman are 1, 2, and 3. I think if Big O fell to 8 and they took him, that could be a pick 4 years down the line. We're looking at, wow, that was a fucking steal of that draft.
Out of biopic.
Yeah,
that's who basically.
Yeah.
I love the idea of him going to this team. I think he's going to be something special. Denny, I don't see a way he falls to 8. Which is the only if you fell to 8, Sean, that's a fucking hit. I absolutely agree with you. I just don't see him falling to 8. So I don't think that's realistic. But if Big O's there and they took him, 100% think it's a great move. He's an undersized 5, aka he's a power forward. He's got a great defensive skill set. Offensively limited now, but I think he's got a lot of room to grow. I think he can do so much, and he's just such a smart player. So I think that his addition to this team adds a different dynamic. It gives them amazing rim protection. So I'd be totally in on that.
So you think if Onyeka, you're saying you agree that Onyeka would be the best case scenario if person who fell to them, Dave?
I mean, if Denny, I just don't find a way in my mind to say Denny's going to fall to 8. That's my biggest problem.
Especially if the Bulls are ahead of him, because the Bulls will either go point guard or Denny.
Yeah, if they ended up with Denny, Obi Toppin, both of those guys, Obi might be there at 8. I don't know. Certain teams are super high on him.
Obi versus Onyeka, who would you take for this team?
I would take Onyeka.
Man, that's tough.
Because they already got PJ.
Why would you take
Because they already got PJ Washington. I feel like that Obi Toppin and PJ Washington would, there's no way I can have both of them on the floor together, and they would clash too much to where Onyeka, I can totally have him next to PJ Washington, and he can help this team offensively and defensively.
But could you just slide PJ down and you Bridges bench?
My thing is just if you take FD, I think you could find a way to play all three of them at the same time.
Yeah,
I think you
can
play
move Bridges
at the 2. You could play Bridges at the 3, and then you could play PJ Washington at the 4. I think that FD's ability,
Bridges
he's
is
not
the 2.
Whoever, but I think FD.
There's a difference.
I immediately thought FD at the 2 just because he is a little bit less filled out, and I think he might still have that
long.
I mean, so is Bridges. I mean, Bridges, I don't think he has the wingspan. I think Bridges was only 2 inches taller than his height. So I think his wingspan was like 6'9".
2 inches taller than his height. I love it.
Yeah, but I think that Abdia has quicker foot speed than Bridges. And I think that's where it would end up coming down to, all right, how are we going to play defensively? And also the thing I like most about Abdia is, I mean, he's got passing skills as well. Out of that wing position. So I think that if we're looking at a comp, I mean, I think he probably is the most, like, if we're looking at the Celtics, I think he's most similar to Jaylen Brown out of their whole group. Maybe Gordon Hayward, but I mean, like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, the team that has made it work is the Celtics. So who on the Celtics?
Oh, rocking all the wangs.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, who's their Gordon Hayward, who's their Jason Tatum, who's their Denny FD, or who's their Jaylen Brown. I know they don't have them, but, like, we've seen it work before with 3 wings out there, and that's the point I'm trying to make.
No, I get you. Miles Bridges is the explosive one, so he'd be the Jaylen Brown of this team. Jason Tatum does everything better than everybody on this team, so it's not really fair.
Yeah.
Gordon Hayward's facilitating, I guess, lazy comp would be Denny Avdia, sure. But Denny is a really good defender. He looks to pan out. He is a longer, bigger player than Gordon. So I don't know. I don't like that comp at all. I see what you're trying to do with the wings on wings.
No, I'm not saying like it's a direct comp.
Style wise, I don't think it would work out to have Bridges, Denny, and PJ all on the floor at the same time. Maybe I think PJ probably would be at the 4 or at the 3, Denny at the 4, and then Bridges either the bench or I guess you could put him at the 2, and run with Devontae Graham or Terry Rozier. That'd be an interesting team. It'd be a very interesting team. I don't know how many games they'd win, but I just don't know. Like from a talent standpoint, yes, Denny is better than both of these guys. I would say at least. But I don't know that I would take him over like an Obi Toppin if I was them. I mean, I would do, but I don't know. I'm struggling at this point because I want to pick the next guy down, like who's realistically going to be there. And I look at the list. Who's
realistically going to be there then?
I think there's a chance you could see Obi Toppin at like 6 or 7, 8. 8 if they stayed still. But you have to look, Isaac Okoro, RJ Hampton, someone who's intriguing to me, to see if they could plug him in on this team. Devin Vassell, and then even down to I don't know if no, it's too far. But yeah, I think those.
No, who were you thinking? Who were you thinking? Patrick Williams. It was Patrick Williams.
Might have been Patrick Williams. But like, there we go. The point is, like, I could see them go for one of those like elite wings prospects. Okoro, I don't love as much as everybody else does. I get it. He's crazy built. Good defender, great slasher, shit shooter.
Didn't you used to be high on Okoro?
I was high for a bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've definitely fallen off that train. Because if you're a team who wants to grab an athletic wing who can't shoot, are you not getting like PTSD at this point? You took MKG. Like, I don't know if I could do that to myself. Like, yeah. Like, we're going to teach Isaac Okoro to shoot. No, ain't doing that. So, like, I would be cool if they took Devin Vassell, RJ Hampton, or Patrick Williams, any one of those guys. But I don't know if those guys are going to be game changers for this team, like instant impact players like we've seen. Or like you're asking for right now.
Well, here, let me ask this, and Ricky, I'll go to you first. Dave, he was throwing out wings, he was throwing out 2s, he was throwing out bigs as well. He wasn't throwing out point guards. If LaMelo Ball is off the board, do they go point guard at 8 or 9? Because really, they can obviously move up top 4, but the farthest they can fall is 9. So
there's only
in that top 9. Is there a possibility that they even if a point guard's available, if they go away from him.
Yes, and the reason why I say that is I was just sitting here sim and tankathon looking for that, and the order that I have here were RJ Hampton, Tyrese Halliburton, and Cole Anthony, and Tyrese Maxey are like the next 4, where if a team like the Kings jumps up into the top 3, where this one has LaMelo going to the Pistons, Edwards going to the Bulls, Weisman goes to the Kings at 3, the Hawks take Denny Abdi at 4, Big O going to the Warriors at 5, Obi Toppin to the Cavs, Okoro to the Wolves, and then Killian Hayes to the Knicks. There could be a chance if the Kings, the Wizards, the Suns, the Spurs, if any of these teams that are lower jump up above them, that they might be left with Halliburton, Anthony, and then it's like, or do we go with the 2s of RJ Hampton and Tyrese Maxey? Like, it's not a high probability, but it could happen that they are left at 9 with, we're either picking point guards or 2s. So yeah, I could see it happening, but it's not like a super high chance.
I don't know that there's a position they wouldn't pick because they've got a staple guy locked in at it. Like, they've got good young talent, but I wouldn't it's just
I would say the 3
to fall down my big board.
I would say the 3 and the 4. I would say for me, Miles Bridges and PJ Washington are my locks. Everything else is open.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Here's a question then. I know it's a little tough, but like, if that board happened, would you go RJ Hampton or Tyrese Maxey for this team?
Hampton. I think that although
like,
Maxey
are you saying
is more
just between those 2, or are you saying would you go them over the point guards?
Nope, just those 2.
Just between those 2, I would take Hampton.
You're
I think
looking
Hampton,
for a 2 guard or whatever they are,
Hampton, I think I like his flow a little bit more, I guess. I think he's got more of a natural feel to his game, and I think play style wise, I think he would fit better with this team. Where Maxey, is there much of a difference between him and Terry Rozier? Like at Maxey's best, like, isn't in some ways that it's just kind of Terry Rozier?
Yeah, I would say RJ Hampton because he can play the 1 more than Tyrese Maxey. Like, RJ Hampton, I could.
Who are you taking, Dave?
I could theoretically.
I'm
put
just
him
asking.
You got to answer. I'm asking.
No, Dave does this all the time. He asks
Hampton
questions and then he doesn't fucking answer it.
Yeah, I want to know your opinion on it.
Yeah, but I want to know your opinion.
I kind of want to lead up there with that Tyrese Maxey. You kind of read through the Terry Rozier, comp. Like, well, they play similar styles. They both kind of a little selfish. They both great drivers, but not great outside shooters. But both will take the shots because they've got confidence in their game, and obviously it can grow. I would go RJ Hampton. I would take Hampton. I think I'm going with the size. I'm going with the potential for what he could be offensively and defensively. Maxey could be something special. He could also be worse Terry Rozier.
Is the key word for their draft pick potential? Do you think that's the biggest thing that they should be?
Yeah.
Is that but BPA that could mean all right, well, right now we love what Obi Toppin is, right? But what if we look at Obi Toppin versus Nneka Okongwu? What determines that? Yeah, but like I think the biggest word for them is potential. So if I'm looking at this team,
going star power, who can be the biggest star coming out? That's what they need.
No, exactly, and that's what I think this whole draft comes down to them is you have to draft potential, whether that be the potential to unlock your offense with a mellow ball, or whether that be the potential to have a 7-1 freaking James Wiseman, or maybe a Nneka Okongwu's the next Bam Adebayo, and we're looking at that potential.
I'm gonna say they're similar to the Knicks, but different in the fact that we were talking about whoever the Knicks pick, how they pair with RJ Barrett. But with the Knicks, we were saying, can RJ Barrett take that leap? With this one, it's who can you pair up with Miles Bridges? However, I have no question that Miles Bridges can't be the number 1 for this team.
See,
so you're not looking for the number 1.
PJ Washington over Miles Bridges. I don't
either. Like the point being is they have their number 1 in my mind. Like I feel like Miles Bridges will. Like from what we saw this year, he will develop into the 1 for this team, and who's going to fit the best next to him.
I was the biggest Miles Bridges guy in that draft. I was the I was the biggest PJ Washington guy, and I can firmly say that neither of those guys will be ones, and I will take that to the bank. I'll write this down on April 4th, 2021. Sean said that neither of those guys will be ones. I think they'll be on the team for a very long time. I think they'll be very, very good, but I still think they need the guy out on their team to fully unlock it. Any final thoughts before we get to Jake and welcome him in?
No,
I think we're good.
All right, that's going to do it for the Hornets talk. Hornets fans, let us know what you think. I don't think we have too many Hornets commenters, so I'd be very interested to see what the response is from there. And obviously, if you're listening on Twitch, we'll catch up with you once we take this a little bit of break. Next, we will be going into top 10 players right now in the NBA with Jake.